Okie dokie, hello there everyone. This is Art by Marlene and I'm ready for day 2 of the Craft Advent Calendar by Art by Marlene for 2024. I will be posting this on YouTube afterwards, but of course it's nicer just to have you all join us here in the Art by Marlene Creators Group. So I'm just going to see if I can zoom in a little bit. There we are. I think that's a bit better. Otherwise you see my jersey on screen all of the time. So just waiting for some people to pop in. Hi Michelle. Oh, you made it. You are having lovely weather, I think, in Natal in South Africa at the moment. Not as cold as we have here over in the Netherlands. And hopefully you are all ready for the play for today. So what am I going to do today? Of course, we are opening the day 2 of the Craft Advent Calendar. So here is the little box. Hi Agnieszka. Just going to put my little cart to the side. And crafting makes everything better. I'm going to open it and we're going to take out the day 2 envelope from our little tin box that we have. Putting that aside. So this is what we're going to work with today. And of course I know what's in there as I designed all of it and wrote all of it. So today we have the little quotes. And we have it in a color that we only have in the Advent Calendar, which is the lilac, one of my new favorite colors. And you have it in white and the same quote in it black. And it's, the more you let go, the higher you rise. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Becoming a craft is almost like joining the underworld. Once you're in, you can't ever get out. Well, that's definitely a saying that goes without saying with me. Becoming a crafter is, so that's definitely my favorite one. Peace is not choosing the same side. It is the empty space between the 2 points of view. And I think at the moment that is definitely a very good thing to remember. You don't have to choose the same size. It's just choose to not fight about it. It is the season to be jolly. Trust the process. I see your courage. Giddy up, sparkle farts. There's chaos to be spread. And discover your creative wings. So that's the quote we have today. And of course we have the envelope we can work with today. So first of all, I'm going to take out my envelope. Or I'm going to take it apart. So if I have paper that I want to work with, I can use all of it the way I want it. And I'm going to open my journal so you all know the first page we did and the day 1 and now we day 2. So I've got stripes on the page. I didn't choose for it. I just stuck it in there. Every day a different one, so it's just randomly. I didn't look at what I'm going to work it down there with. And I want to cut out the day 2 first. And I'm going to cut the flower out with it. There we are. So let's just cut that one out. So are you all finished with your little books? Have you all created a journal that you can work in every day? I think once you make a journal for your Advent, it's kind of like a commitment. You are more committed to finishing. And usually I see people that does a loose tag here and there, they don't really commit to the project. So once you've actually created a journal, you then want to fill it every day, and you want to keep up with the lives, and it's just more fun. And don't forget, we also have the month challenge. So if you want to know which envelopes you want to use for which days, just go into the albums that I have stuck in. Oh, see, that's nice. So I'm going to put that day 2. Let's put that in. But in the albums, I have said which envelope. So for December, I think it'll be envelope 2 and 3. And then for January, it will be envelope 3 and 4. So just make sure that if you make a project with that specific envelope, take a picture and make sure you know which album to post it. So you can take part in the monthly challenge. You can win prizes with it. Hi, Garden. Hi. Can't wait to start. So for people watching it on replay on YouTube, you know that I'm saying hello and commenting on comments that people actually do in the live Art by Marlene Creatives group during the live. So what I'm going to do over here, oh Garden, great to see your album is almost done. So I'm going to work with quotes. So I have created this previously, and this was done with just quotes from the stack. And I just created a background, and I think I'm going to do something down that lines in here. Not sure yet. I'm just winging it every single day with you, because I want you to see that sometimes things don't work out, and that's okay. And if it doesn't work out, we will change it, and we will make sure that it just becomes something that we do like. I'm just going to tone that down just a tiny little bit, so it just goes better with this paper. I think that's just a bit better. Yes. And then I'm just making sure that I repeat the paint onto my paper a bit, just to make sure you don't have weird just color changes in it. So I just want to make sure that it looks more painterly, the painted side or the paper side. And I'm going to just take a bit of that pink down to the bottom of this, so it looks more painterly. Okay, so I've got that on there. I'm going to change it in the corner. Kim says she doesn't have the emotional willpower to cut up the envelopes. Well, then you just have to buy another advent calendar to keep the envelopes. You can also just make an envelope book and then just keep your tags in there, of course. That's not a problem. So now I'm going to just use my credit card, or you can use your palette knife or spatula, and I'm just going to pull the paint slightly onto my page. So you can use any credit card, or you can even use a piece of cardboard. And I'm going to mix a bit of that lilac, which is my color called lavender, and I'm going to mix that, and I'm going to use, let's see, I think punk. Great to hear, Agnieszka, that you are finished with your album. So let's just mix that up just to create a purple, a lilac-y color. So let's add that. I'm just going to To prevent all the other pages from getting dirty, I'm just going to put a piece of paper in there. That just makes it easier to commit to a single page instead of all the pages all at once. So there we are. So just add a bit of colour all over your page in the first instance. I'm just going to remove these before I get all the paint all over them. And now, of course, I will add a bit of that yellow. And what I also want to do is I'm going to add a bit of yellow on this side, and I'm going to add hot pink to this, and a tiny bit of the peony. You will be able to see, I'm just going to create a kind of a bright orange. And then I'm going to take my spatula, because this is some smaller pieces that I want to add it in. Now I don't want that whole large area is filled with it, so that's why I then go in with my spatula. It's easier just to then do smaller areas. There we are. So that's a nice bright page. So when I'm finished, I just want to clean out my spatula. Don't leave it in your water the whole time, because otherwise it will just dissolve the glue under here, and after a while it will let loose. So just make sure you clean it. I'm a bit like cleaning it all the time, making sure my workspace is easy to work on. So let's see. So that's how far I am. So I'm going to just use my heat tool. So you can see it still needs to dry over here a bit, but it's fine for now. And now I just want to have a look and see what I'm going to, which way I'm going to work on it. Like over here, I didn't use a focal image really. I just drew this, and this is little dotted paint that I just used directly from the tube. So you can see the dimension on there. And the hearts, and so I drew in with my pens, with my paint pens. But over here, I'm actually thinking of adding something like a flower. So I might go in and have a look in this. This is one of my colorful collage books. Maybe something like this, adding a flower. Let's see. Let's see if that'll work. I think that might work. So I'm just going to cut out a flower. And of course, if you don't have this flower, you can use any other flower or from a magazine or whatever you want to. I usually use something from my own collection. And for the challenge, you need to use products from my collection if you want to post it in the challenge albums. But for the rest, you are free to use, if you're just at home and you just want to wing it, it's fine to use anything you have on hand. So I'm going to just take that one leaf off because I just want to, I think that'll be nice, just adding a nice flower to the corner. You see that? I just think that might work a bit in there. So what I want to do is I want to use a broad brush, make sure the under layers are dry over here where I want to stick it down, because if it's not dry it's going to just create a whole lot of muck. So I'm going to just grab my gel medium. So when you use my gel medium, I always advise everyone to use some Vaseline or any like anything that is a bit fatty, to put it around here just to make sure it doesn't stick, because once this is actually glue, a gel medium, so if you don't do it you won't be able to open your pot. You will open it once and then it'll be that. You'll be able to open it again. I'm just gonna, and I'm also going to add the matte medium over my paper, because my paper is quite matte, and although my gel medium is a matte gel medium, it does give it just a tiny bit of, like it's more acrylic. So I kind of like the way that it looks on my pages then, but everything looks exactly the same. And then of course make sure you clean out your paintbrush really well otherwise. So this needs to dry. Once this is dry, it'll just dry totally clear and you won't see it anymore. It's wet at the moment. That is the sheen you are seeing. Any questions? Or are you all too busy creating together with me? There we are. That looks much better. Mucho better. Okay. Now what I always have, when I put a focal image on my page, I always want to create a bit of depth into the background. So I'm going to use my paint pens for this. And you will need just a thinner brush, not too thick one. So I'm going to just use a thinner brush for this. Make sure it's not too, it's a bit damp but not too wet. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a bit of shading. The albums is already set up, Rachel. I see your question. The albums is already set up in the Art by Marlene Creatives group. The only thing is you can only post everything in the albums by the end of the month. You can, or like tomorrow you can post what's in the December album as well, because then we've had the envelope 2 and 3. but I don't want people to post ahead of time, so there's things being revealed in the group and there's people that has not opened the advent calendars. I don't like that, so please only post whatever has already been revealed in the group. And if you just want to paint in somewhere, you can always put a bit of your brush just onto the side. It's just a question that you want to do a bit of shading and just make sure that your flower really pops out. Because you've got a busy background, you do want it to just still pop from the page. There we are. There we are. So we've got that. And you can see here I found it still a bit too harsh, so I will just soften that up a bit. I don't want it to like an outline, I more want it as a shading all around. So if I just hold it up closer, you might be able to see the way that it looks now. So I just want to shake my white over here. Yes. Just make sure that wherever there's white, I'm just enhancing it a bit around the edges. There you can see it just looks a bit better when you enhanced it a bit. So then it's up to my quote. So of course it is the season to be jolly, but I'm going to use my most favorite quote, which is, becoming a craft is almost like joining the underworld. Once you're in, you can't ever get out. I just love it so much, but I do want it to, oops, there we are, is almost, let's see, this one, once in, there's a, okay, just cutting this part off. So, becoming a crafter is almost like joining the underworld. Once you're in, you can't get out. So there we are with that. Now of course we want to do a bit of shading there too. So I'm going to go for a bit of a darker purpley colour. I'm going to use a Dermont Chroma Flow Lilac number 1000. there we are. So you can see it when I hold it up towards the camera. Maybe the light, just change the light angle so you might be able to see it a bit better. So that way, and then over here, it's good, Corin, it's okay. Just a bit of shading that we add under the flower and under the number 2. So that gives you already a good idea of your day 2 project. So what I want to do is just for day 2, just in the black, I'm going to just under here is trust the process, because we're doing the becoming a crafter, but also I also want you to remember of trusting the process, because that way, if it's not pretty, it's just not finished yet. So that way you can just finish it easily. So that is day 2. Really easy, really fun. What I like to do is just add a bit of just white splatter, and usually I don't use white paint for that, I have to admit. I usually use something like a bleed proof white ink or calligraphy ink to do the splatters with. Where's my splatter brush? I don't put my splatter brush with the other brushes because I don't want it to become damaged, but usually then I don't have it on hand. I only have it on hand upstairs in my real studio. So just a very fine splatter, almost like snow. And here a bit of a larger splatter. And that is it, I think. So not difficult whatsoever, and still you get a lovely result. Just easy, doing step by step, and just finishing it the way you would like it to. Okay, thank you for joining me. Until the next time, bye bye.